From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Our top story at 9:20 this morning, Alaska State Troopers received a report of a sexual assault here in Fairbanks. According to Trooper spokeswoman Megan Peters, the victim was a teenage female.
The victim reported she heard someone call for help in a wooded area off of Loftus Road, and when she went to assist, she was attacked by a white male. According to Peters, the girl was able to break away while being tied up and fled to a nearby residence.
Now, troopers were searching the area where the incident occurred with canines. The suspect is believed to be a white male in his 20s, wearing a dark sweatshirt and jeans, and has a scar over his eye.
Now, anyone with information about the incident is asked to call troopers at 451-5100.
If anybody has any information that they believe can help us with this investigation, we really encourage them to contact troopers and Fairbanks. Certainly this could have been a lot worse. I'm sure for the victim it was horrendous enough as it was.
On Friday in Fairbanks Superior Court, convicted murderer Jacques Lisby was sentenced to 10 years incarcerated with an additional 10 years of supervised probation. Lisby was convicted of second-degree murder in the shooting death of Malik Moore. Moore's family members, including his mother, Taranita Smith, listened in via telephone. Smith spoke exclusively to the News Center regarding the plea deal and how she felt about the defense asking to amend items such as alcohol consumption and contacting her for a, quote, apology.
I was very angry. I mean, the fact that, that your life is still going on and you worrying about can you consume alcohol. Since the statement that his lawyer made that he did not do this, it's nothing really that he has to say to me. To me, when I'm ready for him to contact me is when he's ready to tell the truth, the 100% of the truth, because I would like to know how this whole thing happened. How did Malik end up behind the Sandvik Apartments? What did he do when you pulled the trigger 6 times and put 6 bullets into his body? What was it that he was saying to you? Why? And the biggest question is why?
The head of the Anchorage Chamber of Commerce does not support moving a fighter squadron from Fairbanks to Anchorage. Anchorage Chamber President Andrew Halcrow said the proposed move doesn't make sense. Halcrow told the Greater Fairbanks Chamber of Commerce last week that the state's largest city already has a waiting list of 4,000 people for affordable housing, and homes costing less than $500,000 don't last long on the market. The Air Force wants to move the F-16 Aggressor Squadron from Eielson Air Force Base to Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. A final recommendation on whether to move the jets is due later this year.
Today, the students of Galena headed back to school. This start date is 3 weeks after the normal start date for schools across the state. The Galena City School District had to tackle numerous problems after the flooding, which caused significant damage to the students' homes. The district allowed the use of its schools as a staging area and living space for those residents displaced by the flood. The reason for the late start, according to school officials, was the regular summer maintenance that had to be pushed back due to recovery efforts.
The Fairbanks Community Behavioral Health Center will pursue Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The board of directors made the decision on Friday, and the organization will end operations September 13th, but client services will continue smoothly. They will transfer staff, clients, and the Cushman Street property to a new company called the Fairbanks Community Mental Health Service. While the new company will care for clients, FCBHC will search for funds to pay off their debt, which is $1.2 million. Interim Director Jake Poole says the new company is part of an Anchorage agency, but it will be managed locally.
The organization here will be a Fairbanks operation. Okay, it'll have a staff, it'll have a director, it'll have all of the pieces and parts that they have now. But instead of being a standalone organization, it'll be a business, a company of the Anchorage Mental Health Community or Community Mental Health Service. But the services, the client services, continuation of services, the quality of services will all stay the same and will be run out of Fairbanks.
Plenty more when we come back. Another power outage affects more than 600 interior Alaskan residents.
Also, Alaska Airlines gets some new planes. All right, those stories are next. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. Yesterday afternoon, a widespread power outage was reported to Golden Valley Electric Association. Now, this is the second large power outage within a week. According to GVEA spokeswoman Cassandra Cerny, it affected members of the Steese, Hakelbarger, the Elliott, as well as Fox. GVEA said that roughly 675 members were affected by the outage and that 2 crews were out patrolling the line. Cerny said some of the power loss was due to the outage. Other loss was due to a protective measure taken by GVEA for their equipment. At 7:45 p.m., power was restored to customers, and the cause of the outage was said to be a bird's nest on the line.
Late afternoon on September 4th, Alaska State Troopers received a report of a stranded helicopter that was stuck on Mount McGeek. According to a press release by the Alaska State Troopers, due to deteriorating weather, the 3 crew members inside were forced to remain at the 6,500-foot level. The pilot, Sam Eagleye, along with passengers, University of Alaska Fairbanks researcher Turin Lopez and John Paskovich, remained by the helicopter and were reported to have the proper provisions, as well as were reported uninjured. However, due to the poor weather conditions, the rescue team could not immediately respond. The first attempted rescue on September 5th was also unsuccessful due to weather. According to officials, the Rescue Coordination Center completed the rescue around 5 p.m. on Friday, September 6th, and the 3 stranded crew members were transported successfully to King Salmon.
A Super Cub airplane crashed at a lake near Talkeetna Saturday evening. David Akers of Palmer, a passenger on the plane, reported the crash approximately 25 miles east of Talkeetna, telling troopers the plane was submerged in a small lake. An Alaska State Troopers investigation revealed Sheila Pierskala of Wasilla piloted the plane. Pierskala reported problems with the plane upon landing, which led to the plane crashing into the lake and becoming submerged. Now, the pilot of the Super Cub reported minor injuries, and the Rescue Coordination Center transported the injured parties to a medical center in Palmer. Both the NTSB and FAA were notified of the incident.
Earlier this year, Alaska Airlines made the announcement that they would be replacing their current 737s that fly shorter routes throughout Alaska with 3 new turboprops in March of 2014. Today, Alaska Airlines introduced one of the new turboprops to the media and invited guests. The Horizon airplane has many features that will make the ride more comfortable and efficient. The cockpit contains state-of-the-art navigation along with other features to provide a safe trip. The regional president says the airline will work to make more slots available for departures as well as arrivals.
Q400 has lower costs, so the way we think about it is that lower costs allow us to add lower or enable lower fares over time. That will take time to get to a critical mass where we can really see that benefit across the state, but the Q400 has about 30% lower cost per departure, so that should help us as we move down the road to bring lower fares to the state.
This month, Alaskans are reminded that no amount of alcohol is safe during pregnancy because it increases the risk of fetal alcohol spectrum disorders. Kids are typically diagnosed with the disorder when they enter school at age 6. Now, the condition affects a child's ability to learn, focus, concentrate, or memorize new concepts. According to the State Department of Health and Social Services, Alaska has the highest rate of children diagnosed with fetal alcohol spectrum disorders.
Supporters of a proposed ballot initiative to legalize the recreational use of marijuana in Alaska are about halfway toward their signature gathering goal. The measure's main sponsor, Timothy Hinterberger, says the goal is to gather 45,000 signatures by December 1st, roughly 15,000 more than are needed for the proposal to qualify for next year's primary ballot. The proposal would make it legal for those 21 and older to use and possess up to 1 ounce of marijuana, though not in public. It also would set out provisions for legal grow operations and establish an excise tax. Colorado and Washington have passed similar initiatives.
The Alaska Federation of Natives will be hosting its annual convention this year in Fairbanks, October 24th through the 26th. This proves to be the largest event for Alaska Natives and the association each year and draws thousands to its doors. The AFN has formed a new advisory panel in order to further help Native people in the state. One of the members of the panel is Tanana Chiefs Conference President Jerry Isaac and Kawarak President Melanie Bonke. As well, will be on the panel. The two will serve as co-chairs. Other members will consist of various leaders and people from tribes and Native nonprofits across the region.
So, Joe, you know, my Facebook feed, everything was just swamped with all this football going on.
Oh, yeah. You know, NFL opening weekend. Doing pretty well in fantasy myself so far.
Okay.
But also locally, some big stuff happening. So we have the big sports stories from over the weekend, including results from some high school football games. But first, out of the break, the Natick hockey team did something to improve their team. They sought out the military to do it. And you'll see that next. Hello, Interior sports fans. Joe Cook here in the Sports Seat for you this Monday evening, bringing you the weekend recap. Now, early Saturday morning, the Natick hockey team was on Fort Wainwright doing what some of our soldiers do to prepare for battle. But what do tires and gas masks have to do with winning hockey games? They explain.
Come on, boys! Push it, push it!
The success we've seen is it really does test them mentally and physically, and it also tests their leadership capabilities as well as the teamwork of the organization. They're really enhanced community relations that we have with the Nanooks as well as with the greater Fairbanks community.
Hey, we're going! 948. Come on, just to the gate!
I've seen military competitions like this in the past. They're very effective at helping small units gel into an organization that can work together on a constant basis.
1, 2, 3. Come on, fellas, almost there, eh? Finish hard!
It's actually, I think it's unreal that we get the experience to see what they're up to and like how much training they actually go through to protect the country that they're in, and it's unbelievable.
Straight ahead for it, Jay. Heads up, shorts.
It's like mental. You just got to push yourself through it. You know you can do it, but it's just like you got to stay mentally tough, and that's what gets you through it. So.
Thanks, boys. Woo! Thanks, Red fellas. That's big cat.
It's really good because we depend on one another, and by going through hard stuff like that, it just brings us together, and it's only going to translate over to the ice. Gets us comfortable with each other, helps us battle. That's what we need on the ice to win.
And also on Saturday morning, the UAF cross-country team closed out the Alaska Cross Country Invitational, the short course race. The Natick men had a solid showing. Isaac Lammers led the way for the second place Nanooks with a top 5 finish in 12 minutes and 55 seconds. Max Olex and Michael Fehrenbach were 9th and 10th. Robert Peterson led the field in 12:40 for MSUB. He also won Thursday's long course race. The Long Jackets took spots 2 through 4 to win it. For the women, Hannah Stevens was the first Nook to cross in 6th place at 15:51. Nicole Bath came in 15 seconds later for 7th. Seattle Pacific would win on the legs of Michaela Fricker, who also won the long course race on Thursday. MSUB was 2nd and UAF came in 3rd.
So we went back and forth like everybody was just like bouncing around. It was just back and forth the whole time. So it was a really fun race.
You know, it was awesome training to have 2 races like this early in the season, and then just to see where we're at as a team.
We don't get too high or too low on the first weekend, and we just want to make sure that they went through the process correctly, warmed up properly, raced effectively, you know, the way that they planned to race, and then you know, cooled down and the whole 9 yards.
Now we recap the weekend's games in high school football. West Valley got its first win of the season Friday night. The Wolfpack exploded for 41 points in their 41-12 victory over Houston on Friday night. That win was the first in the head coaching career for West Valley's Kyle Allison. The Wolfpack are now 1-3 on the year and go on the road to Wasilla for their next game. And today, the Lathrop Malamutes find themselves with a playoff spot. On Friday night, number 3 Lathrop's offense broke out for 452 yards of total offense and 4 touchdowns in their 42-32 win over number 5 Wasilla. It was their 4th consecutive win. The victory clinched a playoff berth for Lathrop, the first since 2004.
So to have all the kind of pistons firing and all the different weapons available, I'm just blessed as a coach to be able to set them up and help them succeed, but we're just going to keep getting better.
The motto still is, we still want respect, and I think we got it from the Valley tonight. You know, everybody play hard. We weren't consistent sometimes, but you know, we bent, but we didn't break.
On Saturday, the Owlson Ravens, they dominate the Barrow Whalers in a 71-14 win. Tony Griffith ran for over 300 yards and scored 6 total touchdowns, including a 93-yard interception for a TD. Monroe also got a huge win. This one, a 35-2 win over Valdez. Scooter Bynum did a little bit of everything, contributing 91 yards receiving with 2 touchdowns and a 46-yard pick 6. This Friday, the Rams and Ravens will clash on Buck Nystrom Field. Also, Chugiak upset Service 27-6. Finally, it's time for the I-5, the interior top 5 plays. Coming in at number 5 in tennis, Liana Sawyer and Lydia Bornstad. They teamed up for the nice win, 3-6-6-4, 10-3 over Lathrop on Thursday. North Pole won consecutive dual meets last week. At number 4, some high school volleyball, Vanessa Hastings with the game-winning block as Hutchinson wins 3-1 over North Pole. The Hawks are 4-0 at number 3. The Monroe Rams led by sophomore Emily Pfister, 16 kills and a 3-1 victory over West Valley. The Rams are 4-0 as well. And at number 2, this play is pretty royal. Sir Charles Sudduth finds Devin Prince Cooks. West Valley gets their first win of the year, 40 41-12 over Houston. Nice one there in the back of the end zone. And coming in at number 1, the playmaker, Derek O'Neal. O'Neal had 175 yards of total offense in Lathrop's 42-32 win over Wasilla. Education and concentration there. Big play there for Lathrop. To select the play of the week, comment on KTVF 11 Sports YouTube. You can @ me at KTVF Joe Cook on Twitter and comment on Facebook and tell me what you think the play of the week is. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again. Hope you had a great weekend. Boy, that fog was something else Saturday, but we're looking at nice weather for the next couple of days. No rain in the forecast until Wednesday at the earliest. That's nice to pass along. Our photographer tonight, this is some interesting video here. This was taken by folks named Seaweed. I'm not sure what the C stands for, but anyway, this was the little kids here with corn way the heck up there. So that's a pretty good crop of corn there. And again, if you have a photograph to share, by all means, send it to Mike Schultz at KTVF11.com. Right now, it's 61 degrees at the airport. That's our high for the day. The low last night, 43. Record high, 74, 1929. Record low, 24, 1992. Sunrise and sunset, 13 hours, 41 minutes of daylight, a loss of 6 minutes from yesterday. Here's our map today, our satellite picture, again showing lots of moisture down south of the Alaska Range, all being blocked out because it's coming out of the south, and the Alaska Range acting like a big roadblock there, just keeping everything from getting in the interior. A lot of cloudiness, and that's about it. Elsewhere across the state, here's what it looks like. As you can see, looking at mainly partly cloudy to cloudy skies over southeast Alaska, the same around the Gulf of Alaska. No precipitation on the map right now. How about that? Denali Park, again, cloudy skies there. Barrow, 37 degrees, partly cloudy, and the same at Fort Yukon, partly cloudy, 57, lower 48. Weather, it looks like sunshine has come back to the Pacific Northwest once again. Rain and thunderstorms around the Minneapolis area, 94 degrees there. Over Texas, again, very hot temperatures at Dallas, 96 degrees there. Some scattered thunderstorms off the east coast of the southeastern sections of the lower 48. On the satellite and radar, again, high pressure, really well defined here. Again, the circulation clockwise showing all the moisture moving across the southwest. More flooding possible in the desert southwest. Got to keep an eye on that. And as far as the jet stream, once again, way up to the north on the western side of the country, but then it just takes a real big dive down to the south. Much cool air coming across the northeast. And that will give those folks there a breather from all the hot weather they've been having. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. The northern sections, clouds and fog for Barrow. Nome will see rain and mostly cloudy skies at Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, we'll be looking at mainly cloudy skies in the Fairbanks area, but a better chance for showers around Healy and to the south. Over southeast Alaska, it looks like showers likely for Juneau. Mainly cloudy skies at Ketchikan, while over to the southwest part of the country, by the state, showers likely for Bethel and Kodiak, partly cloudy skies in Cold Bay. And over south central regions, widespread rain and showers for Anchorage, Homer, and Valdez. Okay, new week, which means it's time once again for our kids' weather. And this week we're talking with the kids from Crawford Elementary School. Tonight, a young girl talking about a big snowstorm she was involved with.
One time I was at Montana, and there the snow got this high on me. And me and my brother and sister went out in the snow to play. We kept on falling into the snow and having to help each other out.
And tomorrow night we'll have a picture to share with you with one of the kids. All right, here's your forecast for the night. Mostly cloudy, a little cooler, 42 degrees for the overnight low. Tomorrow's forecast calling for mostly cloudy skies, but a little warmer than today, 64 degrees, and the extended forecast. Again, temperatures pretty consistent all the way across the board, although cooling off by Saturday and Sunday, and the next chance of showers probably Wednesday, like I said, and then again on Friday. Overnight lows will also once again be right around where they should be, in the low 40s to around 40 degrees each night. So all in all, still not too bad, and the trees are really starting to turn fast now.
What I have to say is that sunset now is at 8:39. So you know what that means?
No.
I have no idea.
It's winter is coming, you know? The sun starts going down earlier and earlier.
In our record low today, 1992, that was the winter snow was on the ground by the 4th and never came back. It never melted.
Wow. Yes, it was.
All right, thanks guys. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, one-on-one with President Obama at the White House on Syria. That's coming up next with Brian Williams.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
And that will do it from all of us here at the News Center. We hope to see you back here at 11. Until then, have a good night. Bye.